So how do you go about writing content that's going to rank your website in the local organic search results and also convert your visitors? What's going on, everybody? Matt Wacek here. Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm going to lay out my strategy today for how I create content for my sites that will not only allow us to rank, which is obviously important, but also convert the website visitors who are actually reading through the content, because it's important to be writing for not only Google and their bots and making sure your site gets indexed and then getting ranked, but you have to make sure that content makes sense to the people reading the site and also to Google as well, because they're starting to pick up, and they have been now for a while, on content, on whether or not it's actually good quality content or if it's just a bunch of garbage nonsense with keywords stuffed in it. That makes no sense. So let's hop into my computer. I'm going to take a look at how I structure the entire page's content in terms of the H1, H2, and H3 headlines and the paragraph text, calls to action, and a whole lot more. So let's get into it. All right, so to start things off, this outline is going to be used primarily on the home pages of your single city focus sites, the city plus service pages that you build either on your regular sites that you're building on mainly, or if you're using Magic Page plugin, but you're going to want to employ spin text and use a lot of it as shown in the training with the software. But you really have to go super in depth with changing out every single word combination that you could possibly imagine, different phrases, different sentences, different paragraphs even, and that will allow you to create thousands of pages that will all be unique from one another, and then you'll be able to rank for all those different keywords because each page will look completely different than the other. So you can also use this on the service pages of those single city focused sites. So for example, let's say you built a website in the plumbing niche in whatever city. So if you wanted to hone in and really maximize the profitability of that site, you could have the homepage be all about plumbing in that main city, which would be the broad keyword. And then you can have service pages for each individual sub-service that falls into the plumbing category. So these would be services like pipe repair or faucet replacement, toilet installation, those types of services that fall underneath the category of plumbing. And what you do is you optimize those pages for toilet installation in city, that whatever the city is that your website is all about. Now anyways, let's get into the actual content here of these pages. So the opening and how you basically start these pages off is an H1 header. So this would be the main city and then that broad service keyword that you're targeting. And this can be interchanged. You could do broad service keyword plus the city, and that usually will do the state abbreviation as well. So this would be plumbing Minneapolis or whatever. You guys get the idea. You know the niches, you know the cities, you can just go on a map and find them. But so then you want to make sure that that homepage is optimized for that particular keyword, whatever that is that your site's all about. But then down beneath it, and this will depend on what website builder you're using in terms of where this content is placed. But what you do is then set up another paragraph. And basically what you're doing is identifying the problem that your website is solving for that person. So this can come in the form of a question. It can be a statement. But the main thing is that it really needs to open up the reader's mind to solving the problem that it is that they have. And here's one example of that is maybe, are you looking to renovate your lawn, or is your lawn a total mess, or something like that? You can open with a statement like that. You'll see commercials on TV, especially the infomercials where it'll sell a product for 20 bucks or whatever, and it will open up with some type of goofy, quirky problem or something like that, and that's what they start out with immediately. So then the next thing that you can do, and this is not always necessary, but I would still incorporate it into your opening paragraph text, is exacerbate that problem. And the reason I say you don't necessarily always have to do this is because we're pretty much warm selling at this point. If they're on our website, they have interest in whatever that service is. It's not like we're running a cold Facebook ad or a cold YouTube ad or something like that where someone is just getting hit with whatever the product is that we're selling. And you have to go super in depth with this in order to get their mind to open up to solving whatever this problem may be. But bottom line, what this is just beating into their heads how bad the problem really is. So an example of this would be, let's say someone has a leaking pipe underneath their kitchen sink. What can happen is if that pipe continues to leak, it can rot out the wood in the cabinet beneath the sink, and rotten wood's going to lead to mold and a whole bunch of other issues and potentially require some expensive repairs, and nobody wants to deal with that. So if you watch any infomercial out there, like I just said, they do an amazing job with this when it comes to opening up and getting their attention, as well as exacerbating that problem and really beating it into the heads of the person watching in order to get them into a vulnerable state. That's really what the goal is to do. We don't necessarily have to do that too much on these websites because this is very, very warm, And frankly, most of the people, especially if it's a service like plumbing or whatever, where it's an urgent need, they just need to get in contact with somebody. Now, exacerbating the problem is something that you can definitely do, but the next step in this paragraph is going to really be building trust and rapport with the person reading. And an example of this would be our remodeling professionals have the expertise, the skill set, the knowledge, whatever. Just go type in knowledge synonym or skill set synonym, and you'll just find other descriptive words for that. Have that to take on any size job, no matter how big or how small it is, whatever. Another example of this, with the years of experience that our plumbing technicians possess or have, or whatever descriptive word you want to use, there's nothing that they have not seen, would be another example there. One thing I would recommend mentioning is that you basically describe service professionals or technicians, personnel, team, crews, that sort of stuff. So it's just pretty broad. So that way someone's not totally surprised when they pick up the phone. And if they didn't read any of the disclaimers, they then find out that, oh yeah, we're going to be connected with a company in their area. So that will help with conversions, because otherwise some people will just hang up the phone if they learn that, oh, I'm just getting transferred and this is like a referral service or whatever. Some people don't like it. Other people don't really care. I find the vast majority of all of the phone calls that come through don't really pay much attention. They just want their problem solved. They don't really care. When it comes to getting the site to rank, now you're going to want to mention the city plus service keyword within this opening paragraph at least once. It's already up there in the H1 for sure, but you want to also put it in your H2 headers, your H3 headers maybe as well, but definitely in your paragraphs also. You're going to want the density to be between 1 to 3%, so use word counter, I think it's .net, .com, something like that. But take your content, copy and paste it, put it into there, and see how many times whatever your service keyword is, your main one that you're trying to rank for, let's say it's Dallas plumber, for example, see how many times that's mentioned. You want to make sure that's 1 to 3%. Ideally, 2 to 2.5 is probably going to be what's best. But make sure you have that incorporated in there, but make sure it also makes sense. Don't always just have it say Dallas plumber. You could do plumber in Dallas, or something like added to a sentence where it's in the context of your Dallas plumbing system. So Dallas plumbing is still in there, but it also makes sense to a reader and also makes sense as Google's bots crawl the site, because that's equally as important as having that keyword there. Now at the end of your opening paragraph, you want to have a call to action to get that person over the edge, to really get them to request service via the contact form or make a call. So you're going to want to have some type of sentence that basically says, get started today by calling our professional plumbers at, then boom, your phone number. Or if it's another niche, something like that, it could be request a quote today to get started with your project, or give us a call at blank. So there's tons of different variations out there. Just get a little bit creative and understand what the niche is and how the business works, and see what your competition has for their calls to action, because I guarantee they have them on their site if they are a company that knows what they're doing, or hired a company that knows what they're doing. So now the body paragraphs, and this is where you're going to have an H2 above it, where we'll cover some examples of how those should look and how those should be laid out. But the content here is going to depend on what the service is that your site is all about. So this is where you're going to have if it's a broad term site like plumber or landscaping, electrician, whatever broad service it may be, you're going to be discussing the general work that's involved in the service while building trust and rapport. So our landscaping professionals have experience and the skill set to build your dream landscape, or whatever the case may be. Go out and learn the industry so you know and can communicate it effectively on your websites. So then what you can also do, depending on how you want to structure your site, and depending on how many pages you are going to build for your site, like if you're just going to do one page site, this would definitely work tremendously, is having those sub-services that would fall under the category of landscaping or electrician or plumber or whatever it is. You have an H2 that's about that microservice within that city. So this would be paver patio installation in Minneapolis on a landscaping Minneapolis page. And what you would do is have then a paragraph underneath that discusses paver patios. And then you can continue on with this through as many services as you would like. I would also highly recommend including images that are going to be mixed into the content. Make sure they're relevant. Make sure you set up the alt text and the title properly. And another thing that you can do, and this will help with ranking and indexing as well, is embedding a YouTube video onto that page. Now, what I would highly recommend doing is, rather than going out and taking a niche specific video, that's fine for PBNs, but when you're doing this on your own site, you want to go get maybe a video template that's animated, or a whiteboard explainer video, whatever you want to get, whatever your budget allows you to do. get one that's set up for your niche and then upload it to a channel that you set up for the site that you're building and embed that on the page. And then optimize the title and the description for that city plus service keyword that you're ranking for. Or if it's a big national site, then just do service near me. And that's what you want to have, and embed that across all of your site. And then at the end of the paragraph, where the next section is going to be another header, have a CTA in there, a call to action. But you don't necessarily have to do this if you're going with small paragraphs and multiple H2 headers, and you're going to have 5 or 6 H2 headers. I wouldn't do this at the end of every single one of them, maybe every second or every third. But bottom line, you do not want to overdo it. So here is an example of how I would do this for a landscaping site. So this would maybe be the homepage for landscaping in Kansas City, Missouri. So have that be the headline at the top of the page. Then beneath it, then we just have a paragraph worth of content with everything that we just discussed. Then an H2 header down below it, and residential and commercial landscaper serving Kansas City, Missouri. And then we provide information that continues to build trust and rapport with that person. And what you need to realize is that we have a goal with these pages, and that is to get someone to convert. It's the same thing if you go to a sales page for any long form sales page that you'll see from any like internet marketing product. That's where it's probably the most popular, or like a supplement or fitness course and that sort of stuff. You'll see long form sales pages, and this is pretty much the same thing. As the person reads more and more and more and more, we want to build the trust and rapport, and really know that when they convert to this offer, they're going to get what it is that they want, which is that end result of their dream backyard, their dream kitchen, their pipes are fixed, or their water's removed from their basement, or whatever the service is. That is what the goal is with these pages. So that paragraph is going to just provide information about landscaping services while building trust and rapport. Then you could throw in then depending on how long your page is going to be, you could throw in a call to action there. And then for the next H2, you could expand to another sub-service if you're not making other sub-service pages. So if you're only making a one-page site all about landscaping in Kansas City and that is it, this is where you would include other services. So this would be maybe a section about paver patios, a section about retaining walls, general landscaping, so this would be mulch, rock. Then another section where you can discuss renovating an existing lawn or lawn removal, with grading, black dirt, sod, hydro seed, grass seed installation, whatever, and having content about all of that with calls to action spread throughout. So this is going to require you to know the industry. So go out and do the work and research the industry, research your competition, and just frankly understand how the business works. So that way you can communicate those services effectively on your website and sell better, because you are still selling a service from your website. This isn't just slapping a page to the internet and then it's going to start making you money. I mean, that will work to an extent, but if you really want to maximize your conversions, this is what you have to do, and this is going to serve you in the future because you're learning the skill set of sales online, which in my opinion is probably the most powerful skill set on the planet right now, especially. Now, another structure that you can follow will work for a lot of niches as well, and that is going to be repair, installation, and maintenance of those sub-services beneath a broad service. So this could be electrician Miami, for example. So then for the content beneath, you're going to have a section about electrical installation, so installing panels, installing wiring, that sort of stuff. Repairs, so let's say something electrical broke someone's house, whatever, fuse box, whatever, get that fixed. Or then also maintenance, where it could be something also like diagnostics and checking to make sure that you're getting an adequate amount of amperage coming through your electrical system in your house, and that sort of stuff. Possibilities are really endless. And the structure of that is very, very simple. You just have electric installation in city, electrical repairs in city, and then electrical maintenance in city. Very, very simple way to go about it. However, though, this is not going to work in every single niche. For example, remodeling. It's either you get something remodeled or you don't. I mean, there's a little bit of maintenance work that those companies might do, like they might do painting and that sort of stuff of cabinets, but it's pretty unlikely. So another example of this is power washing. So someone wants their driveway power washed, their patio or whatever. It's either you get something power washed or you don't. That's it. Snow removal is another one. It's either you have your parking lot or your driveway plowed or you don't. There are other sub-services like sidewalk shoveling or sidewalk snow removal. Roof snow removal is another one. And then also snow pile stacking, or relocation of the snow on site or relocation of the snow off site. And those are other things that can be thrown into there. However, this ties back to going and learning the niche so you can understand exactly how the business operates, so then you can effectively communicate it better to the people viewing your website. I can't stress that enough. So now, coming down here to the end of it, which would be a conclusion where we basically do one last statement of building trust and rapport. So professionals have the experience, the skill set, the know-how, whatever, and one final call to action. Get a quote today, call us 24/7 for service, whatever the niche is that you are building your site all about. And what I do beneath this bottom of this content before we get to the footer is I have a fixed background section with an image relevant to the service that the website's about. So it could be a background of a landscape, and then I'll usually have a dark overlay on it. You could do a light overlay if you want, but then I'll have a box that's partly transparent, but will have text that states ready to get started or get a quote today, and then I'll have either one or two buttons underneath. One button is usually going to be request service or get a quote, and it'll be a link on that button to the contact page. You can also do this with the phone number with just the icon of a phone and then the phone number right there, and it's a click to call link. Depending on the urgency of the niches and the services that your site's all about, you could do phone number for the ones that are more urgent, and then if it's a more researched type of service like landscaping, remodeling, tree services, things are not absolute emergencies, then I would do request a quote where it links to the contact page where you have the contact form. And so that is how I structure my local SEO content to rank in the search results and hit that first page and convert the traffic, because both of those two factors are equally as important to one as it is to the other. Because if you don't have both, you're not going to get what we want, which is people taking action on our website and converting to our offers and becoming qualified leads, where we then have our website generating revenue. Now, if you're going to be someone that's actually going to take action with this information, which I hope that you do, especially if you got to this point in the video, leave a like down below. Whether you're going to learn how to do this yourself, or if you go to our gig or someone else's gig, as long as it's good quality, I don't care. I just want to see people take my information and put it to work and actually take action and do work and get results, because that's one of the biggest goals with my content. And so with that said, if you're not already a part of our ever-growing family, be sure to go down below, smash that subscribe button. We're closing in on 2,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So also be sure to smash that bell for the notifications so you know when the newest content comes live. And if you want to get more guided step-by-step training on how to build a website, rank that website, and monetize that website with a local affiliate offer, there are links to both of our courses right down below where you can get access to that guided step-by-step training and a whole lot more. So with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.